Welcome to the Wrestling News Roundup. Going to take a few topics in the wrestling world and going to be discussing with my good friend NXT sitting next to me. On today's video, we're going to be discussing Liv Morgan kissing Dominik Mysterio, the kiss seen around the world unless you're watching the USA Network. We're also going to be discussing NXT, the debut of Ethan Page. And he claims he's not signed. What is going to be the situation there with him moving forward? Is he going to be facing Trick Williams at Battleground? And also, well, speaking of Battleground, we know Jordynne Grace is going to be the one facing Roxanne Perez. So those are the three major topics we will be discussing on the video. So let's start things off then with Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio. Of course, Liv Morgan became the Women's World Champion at King and Queen of the Ring this past weekend. Dominik Mysterio assisted in that victory. He would say that he didn't mean it. It kind of feels like at the moment he still didn't mean it. I kind of like the creative finish on Raw and how he helped Liv win the steel cage match as well. Of course, Braun Strowman was running around the ring, crashed into Dom. Dom went flying into the cage door, which went flying into Becky, and Liv could escape. Liv's celebrations, though, she gave a big smackaroo, a big kiss to Dominik Mysterio when Raw had gone off air in the States, but thankfully the rest of the world got to see it. And then, of course, Twitter, or X, social media, YouTube, everyone got to see it not long afterwards. What was your reaction to seeing this?
Yeah, Liv's a dirty git. Tons and all, man. We all saw it. Dirty Mo, yeah. It was dude, it's great. It's so entertaining, and like technically this is Braun's fault, not Dominik's fault, this one. So Dominik gets a pass this time around, but hopefully what we said the other day in the review that with Becky and Liv, like hopefully that they've not given away what the story's going to be, and I think that's my biggest problem. Now we've got Liv planting a kiss on Dominik's lips, and it's a kiss seen around the world essentially, apart from the States. It just feels like I said, I just hope that they don't ruin the story. That's the most important part for this. Obviously, with Becky losing, there is still rumors that the contract hasn't been sorted, and she technically will be a free agent, which is kind of worrying. But the rumors are that she's going to be offered the biggest contract to a female wrestler once her contract expires, like depending on who comes in, AEW, WWE. But anyway, otherwise it's great. I just hope it doesn't ruin the story. That's the most important thing about this.
I think a lot of us know where the direction's going, but what I was quite happy about with Raw, because we discussed this on the review show on the channel, we discussed the idea of like, well, Dominik, did help, but, it was like he wasn't meant to help. We wasn't such a fan of the way it was done at King and Queen of the Ring. But however, we then said, well, maybe it'll be a situation that it's delivered early on Raw, and actually they were actually in each other's back pockets to send Becky Lynch off into the sunset, which of course the to be continued on her tweets. That's when she was leaving. But at the same time, Dominik didn't reciprocate the kiss. He wasn't very happy about that kiss. And I think that could be a saving grace when it comes to this story, because although I think we know what the end game is, to play it out long term, there is a situation that Dominik may try to cost Liv at some points and keep screwing up, or it could be a situation that just drags out until Rhea Ripley returns, when actually that's when he does end up screwing up Rhea Ripley and helping Liv Morgan intentionally. And I think that could be the right time to do this.
Yeah, I just hope that it doesn't affect Liv's run as champion. Like, I really don't want it to be a case of, like, if you'd have seen the review the other day where I said that Liv needs to win off her own back, and if it's a case of every match that she has, it's going to be Dominik unintentionally aiding her to a victory, I think that's just going to soil it for me. So hopefully it doesn't go that way the whole way, and Liv can actually genuinely get some title wins or title defenses off her own back.
Just as a personal question, what about just premium live events? What if she can do the job on Raw and SmackDown, well, not SmackDown, but can do the job on Raw, and then when it comes to, say, for example, Clash in the Castle, I have a feeling she could face Lyra Valkyria for the Women's World Championship. What if Dominik was to play a role there, or is that a key moment that Dom should stay away?
It's all variables with the story. Like, I mean, we obviously had JD and Finn come out last night, and it's kind of like, why are they getting involved in the story? And I don't mind if for one or two, just not all of them. Like, I really want Liv to have a really good run with his title, and if it's a case of it's a Roman 2.0 with Liv, but like instead of Roman trying to retain, it's Liv trying to retain, and every time it's Dominik aiding her to retain, it's going to feel like how it was with Carmella, and who's the guy who used to help Carmella all the time?
James Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth. It's going to feel exactly like that again.
Yeah, that's not something that we want to see, certainly. And no chin music back in the day, but maybe some sweet music for Liv and Dom in the future with those two. But it feels at the moment Dom is not playing ball, but Liv is certainly making her focus there. So she's got the championship. The Liv Morgan Revenge Tour will continue. Dominik is the next target. Maybe a leadership in the Judgment Day could be the long-term play, potentially if Damien Priest is kicked out of the group by the rest of the members, as well as there is a bit of friction seemingly going around that group currently on Raw. But let's move on in the meantime. Just, you mentioned Becky Lynch very quickly, yes or no answer. Any chance she goes to AEW?
It depends what her goals are. I mean, she has technically done near enough everything in WWE. There's not a lot else for her to do. Maybe AEW's of interest, but I'll be honest with you, I think with Seth being in WWE, I can just see her going back. I think she's treated so well in WWE. She's such a massive star in WWE that why change? And I mean, like I said a minute ago, both companies are probably going to come out with the largest contracts they've ever offered to a female wrestler before. It's going to totally eclipse what Mercedes Moné probably getting at AEW right now. So, yeah, I could see her re-signing now. I can't see her going anywhere else.
I think there's two options of Becky Lynch signing for AEW. There's slim and none. I think she's sticking around in WWE. I think she's going to take a break. She's going to be maybe for the summer, maybe come back Royal Rumble season. She could come back before. And I think that she'll make a big splash going into WrestleMania season. Perhaps
new character.
Maybe some form of new character. I think certainly could freshen herself up because she's done this character now for the last few years, and I think she's earned herself a break. She's done so much great stuff for the women's division over the last decade or so in WWE. So very much deserved. And I think when she does come back, I can see a rematch with Rhea Ripley on the horizon, perhaps even a tag run with Maya Valkyria. Could be interesting. But let's move on to NXT in the meantime. And obviously, we're speaking about the women's championships over there. The NXT Women's Championship for Battleground has been set. Roxanne Perez was going to be revealed, her opponent, which ended up being TNA's Jordynne Grace. Your reaction to Jordynne Grace coming out, because literally mind blow emoji is what came to mind for me.
Dude, OMG moment of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't expect it, and it was the exact same reaction I had when she was in the Rumble. Dude, you want to get me back. Like, I've really sort of not been into NXT recently, and my God, both the last night is just 100% for me to go back to NXT now. Like, Jordynne Grace, and the fact that she's going to be wrestling next week, she's wrestling Stevie Turner on NXT TV. I really want to see how she's presented and how she's booked. And do you know what, dude? Early prediction, I'd actually like to see her beat Roxanne Perez and be a two-time champ. Because you can imagine her going to TNA with the NXT Women's Champion. Dude, it would be great. Don't get me wrong, I think this is the biggest ploy in the world to sign Jordynne Grace when her TNA contract comes up, which is what I think it ultimately is. But the fact that the rumors are that there's going to be more crossover with TNA, and you're going to see NXT stars go to TNA reportedly, and you're going to see other people come in, dude, Mustafa Ali can have a run in NXT as next division champion. How cool does that sound?
That sounds pretty amazing to me. I would not be against that at all. And obviously, Jordynne Grace, obviously, just to mention about her, obviously appearing in the Royal Rumble, like he said at the start of the year, that was one of the mind-blowing surprises of this year's event. She had a great performance as well, great showing, and obviously, WWE were very impressed with her. So it's no surprise they brought her back at the first opportunity that perhaps they felt that they could. She's still Knockouts champion as well, so it's a great presentation to feel a champion of another company going for a champion in this company, and it feels believable that she could win that match as well. I think the presentation will be she'll be dominant against Stevie Turner next week. Turner isn't someone that's turning heads in NXT right now. She's been missing for a long time, it feels. So I think she's the sort of person that could be squashed and it wouldn't be hurting, in my personal opinion. I think it's going to be a great match between Roxanne and Jordynne. I'm really excited for it. I'm like you. I want to see the title change, especially now Julia's injured as well, that she's not going to be appearing on NXT Heatwave. They've got to change plans for Roxanne Perez and how it's going to be with the NXT Women's Championship. So why not carry on Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne Perez for a little bit longer? And obviously you're saying there we could get people going from side to side, side to side. Could we get NXT versus TNA invasion angles?
You get my hopes up now. Like, just imagine Roxanne Perez having to go to TNA to try and win back her NXT women's title. That just seems crazy to me. Like, obviously we've seen it before where, like, Pete Dunne would be on like an Evolve or a Progress show wrestling with the UK title. But this is a serious company. Like, these guys broadcast to like around the world. Do you know what I mean? So, dude, it's so exciting because it's just something you never think's gonna happen. And now the fact, let's say, Jordynne Grace, and like she come out, it was like, and it had TNA Knockouts champion, and like, I was like, dude, this is such a special moment, man. Like, AEW, when they did it, was kind of like, yeah, that's what they were going for the whole time. This is a proper forbidden door. This is like, WWE never did this. They wouldn't even be as like, when Mickie James did it in the Rumble a couple of years ago, they just had TNA Women's Champion, not knockouts, not nothing like that. They tried to be as bland with it as everything, but WWE are going full board with like how she's presented, man. And like I said, it is the easiest way to try and sign Jordynne Grace, by giving her a good run in NXT while she works for another company. It's like the worst recruiting job ever. Like, oh, you work for that company? Come see what we can do. Come see what life is like here on this brand. It's cheeky, but I respect it.
I respect it as well. And look, I'm a TNA fan, but I want to see Jordynne Grace in WWE one day. That's something I've wanted to see for years, and I think she would actually do very, very well in the WWE rosters, whether it was NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. And she was very impressive in her performance in the Rumble. We mentioned about people going the other side. Just one last thing, very quickly, just if there was a potential of WWE versus TNA, with someone that says he's got not much time left in WWE to get another World Championship, with Slammiversary on the horizon, maybe Bound for Glory later this year. What about a return for AJ Styles?
Oh my! As soon as you said it, my brain just went, AJ can go back to TNA and be world champion. Oh my god, dude, this is perfect. This is fantasy booking to the greatest point. Like, hey, he might not be able to win a WWE championship. AJ can go TNA. He's that TNA. Oh, dude, that's great. I love the sound of that. I'm so gassed. Like, fingers crossed.
Make it happen. AJ Styles versus Josh Alexander is a match I need to see before AJ retires. I would love to see that match. Even if AJ has to drop to NXT and they make it happen that way, I don't care. Just give it to me in some format. I would love to see it. But look, I'm not going to get all ego when it comes to doing fantasy booking, but one thing that we can say when we're mentioning All Ego is a surprise appearance last night on NXT. Of course, All Ego, Ethan Page was the person that attacked Noam Dar and Ora Mensah, and then for good measure actually whooped that Trick as well, attacking Trick Williams, holding up the NXT Championship, closing off the show. Now, Ethan Page has been a bit cocky when it comes to his socials, saying he's not signed to WWE, despite reports everywhere saying he is signed to WWE. However, he has said that, he expects someone in NXT has his phone number, and that the ball's in their court. It looks like Ethan Page is going to be NXT bound for the future terms. And I've got to say, I'm a big fan of Ethan Page, have been since TNA days. I'm excited about this because I think he's the right sort of presentation, right character, and he fits the WWE mold much better than he probably ever did the AEW, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, from what has come out, apparently he has signed he has signed for them, apparently. But his whole being there, like, apparently he had to turn up halfway through the night, like under the cover of darkness, so no one saw him there, and there was no one, nothing was said about him backstage and all this kind of stuff. I mean, like, dude, I think this is great. You and me personally talked offline. We've said many times that Ethan Page, like, we feel would be great in NXT. He, like, his YouTube, like, I follow him on YouTube, and he's a very, like, he's a guy that I just, like, feel I would have it. Like, if I was a mate with Ethan Page, I feel like I'd really get on with Ethan Page, and it's kind of like why I'm really hoping he does well. I mean, I even just went back through our previous conversations, and literally on the 3rd of May, I texted you and said Ethan Page may be a free agent, and you said, yeah, I think Fightful have reported it. Really hope he lands in NXT. But I know we've been talking about this like last year, and we both said the same thing. We'd love to see Ethan Page go to NXT and they've done the right thing and put him in that main event slot, man. This is great. I'm so excited to see what he can do, man. I really, like I said, these the other reason why I'm now going to go back to watching NXT, because I want to see what Ethan Page can do, because he's going to be given, not to say AEW didn't treat him right, but let's be honest, he wasn't used probably to his best of abilities. NXT, they've already thrown him into the main card, into the main event scene. So, dude, I can't wait to see what he can do.
I'm really excited for it. And like I said, like, you know, you really sensed that all ego was there as well. He had everything going in his way. The swagger was there. The confidence was there. Holding up that championship was like, I'm here and I'm going to make a statement. And I just feel, like I said, Ethan Page feels like he's a perfect mold for WWE. And I think they'll have a right way of using him, presenting him. To start at the top against Trick Williams, that Trick Williams has just won the championship. If they have that match, I don't expect Ethan Page to win, which means I suppose there is only one direction after that. After you go for the title, it's down. But I do think he would still be a big time player in NXT around that sort of upper mid card echelon area. Someone would be going for deadline, trying to get that championship opportunity again. He would get his opportunities depending on what was going on. But as for a first opponent for Trick Williams, this would be super exciting because I was very sort of uninspired, let's say, of who would be facing Trick Williams at Battleground. I didn't feel like overly invested in the idea of a Noam Dar match, and I thought whoever it was going to be, oh, it's definitely Trick's going to win. It's not exciting, but the idea of an outsider coming in, someone that's debuting with the likes of an Ethan Page, who's got a point to prove after being stuck in Ring of Honor for so long as well, where he's had so much to showcase and show out on, because he's had great times when he has been on the screen in AEW, but look, he's now here, and I think he's here to stay, and I think he's going to prove a point.
Yeah, and like I said a minute ago, the fact that he has a really relatable fact, like fans, like I said, I subscribe to his YouTube channel. The guy seems relatable, and that's going to take it. That alone is going to take him so far. He's going to get such a fan back in just from being a relatable kind of guy, and like just being like, do you know what I mean? He's funny. He just seems like the kind of guy you'd go and have a drink with. Do you know what I mean? You chill out with. Obviously, he's a big nerd, really, probably like most of us are. I'm a big nerd. Do you know what I mean? I still have wrestling figures. That's how much of a nerd I am. Like, do you know what I mean? He's just the kind of guy I feel like I could really relate and really get behind. So, dude, there's a reason why like Kevin Owens is like the most relatable guy on the roster to me. Like, I can't wait to see what he can do, man. And that's with the crowd are already behind him, and he's been there literally 30 seconds. So I can't wait to see what he can do.
Bring it on, I say. And last question then, just Vic Joseph, of course, was on commentary on this evening. He was going to talk to Booker T, and of course Ethan Page does get on the microphone just before he does. Isn't he from AE? And then Ethan Page starts talking, and it's for timed perfectly. The whole thing done there. The fact he's going to say the company. They don't say the company. Just was a magic moment for me.
Did you hear the other one with Jordynne Grace? Oh, I think it might have been with Jordynne Grace. I don't think it was taken out of like it wasn't meant to be taken out of context, but it was like, I think Vic turns to Booker, says, "If you stood up right now, the desk would fall over." And I was like, dude, they were honestly both times just quality. And yeah, like you said, Vic says AE, and then Booker cuts him off. And dude, it was great, man. It was just so good to have something fresh and exciting to talk about of NXT, because for the longest time it's just felt very like it just exists. And like we've had the draft, they've taken most of their big stars, and like you said, it's very hard to find a number one contender for Trick Williams. So who do? They go out, they reach for someone who's available, and they've grabbed someone absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait. Dude, I'm so looking forward to watching that match.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see if and when it does happen. Hopefully it will be NXT Battleground. But this has been a quick video format that we've done some of the wrestling news this week, just wrapped up into one video. So if this is a video format that you think you enjoy, you want to see more of, then I think this is the point where you're here still now, 18 minutes in. Hit that like button, drop a comment below, let us know your thoughts on some of these wrestling topics as well. And if there's enough support, we'll do more of these. But NXT, thank you for being involved.
Always a pleasure, dude.
Look after yourselves and each other. And if you want to see more videos on the channel right now, check out these videos on the side of your screen. Look after yourselves, take care, and we'll see you for the next video.